Hello everyone. Welcome to Story Corner channel. In this channel, you are going to learn English and develop your listening and speaking skills through stories. So, for more stories, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the stories.
When Spring Returns. Chapter 1, A New Beginning. The train was late. Again. Emma stood at the platform, her suitcase beside her, one hand in her coat pocket and the other holding her coffee cup. The cold wind of late March made her cheeks red, but she didn't care. She was finally leaving her small town behind. New York City. A new job. A new life. It all felt like a dream. She had worked hard for this, long nights studying design, saving money from waitressing at her aunt's cafe, and sending out hundreds of job applications. And finally, a company called Grey Bloom Interiors had said yes. Emma smiled to herself. "This is it," she whispered. The train pulled into the station with a loud screech. People rushed to get on, and Emma followed them. She found a seat by the window and looked out at the familiar streets of her hometown, quiet, simple, and safe. But also a place where nothing ever changed. She wasn't going to miss it. Not really. 3 hours later, the train entered the city. Skyscrapers reached toward the sky like silver giants. Emma's heart beat faster. Everything was bigger, louder, and faster here. She checked her phone. 12:45 p.m. Her interview was at 2 p.m. Plenty of time. Emma made her way through the crowd, pulled her suitcase behind her, and took the subway to Midtown. Her new workplace was in a tall glass building, the kind she had only seen in movies. She stood in front of the building for a second, took a deep breath, and walked in. Inside, everything smelled like fresh paper, coffee, and something expensive she couldn't name. A woman at the front desk smiled at her. "Hi, welcome to Grey Bloom. How can I help you?" "I have an interview with Mr. Bloom." Emma Carter. "Of course, Miss Carter. Take the elevator to the 12th floor." Emma nodded, feeling her stomach twist a little. Nervous. Excited. Both. When the elevator doors opened, she stepped into a bright, open office space with big windows and elegant furniture. A tall man in a navy blue suit walked toward her. "Miss Carter?" he asked. "Yes. I'm Daniel Bloom." Emma blinked. This was Mr. Bloom. He looked nothing like she expected. He was young, maybe 32 or 33, with sharp features, deep blue eyes, and a calm, serious expression. "Come with me," he said, motioning toward a glass-walled office. She followed him inside. The interview was not what she expected. It wasn't full of questions about her past work or design theories. Daniel asked her about what she loved most about design, about how she saw beauty in everyday things. It felt more like a conversation than an interview. By the time it ended, Emma felt calm again. And curious. There was something about Daniel Bloom, quiet, mysterious, that made her want to understand him. "Well," he said finally, standing up, "we'll let you know by tomorrow." Emma smiled. "Thank you for your time." As she walked out of the office, she didn't know that her life had just changed forever. Chapter 2. First Impressions. The next morning, Emma woke up in the small room she had rented in a shared apartment in Brooklyn. The mattress was too soft, the walls were too thin, and the view from the window was just a brick wall, but she didn't care. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. One new email. She held her breath as she opened it. Dear Miss Carter, we are pleased to offer you the position of Junior Interior Designer at Grey Bloom Interiors. Please confirm your acceptance by replying to this email. Daniel Bloom. Emma sat up quickly, grinning like a child. Yes. She whispered to herself. I got the job. She jumped out of bed and texted her mom immediately, then her best friend Lily back home. Everything was really happening. Her first day started 2 days later. She wore her favorite cream blouse and black slacks, simple gold earrings, and a hint of perfume. Not too much, she wanted to look professional, not like she was trying too hard. As she entered the office building again, her heart pounded just like it had the first time. Good morning, the receptionist said. Good morning, Emma replied, smiling. This time, she didn't need directions. She took the elevator to the 12th floor and stepped into the office, where she was greeted by a woman in her early 30s with short blonde hair and a bright smile. You must be Emma, she said. I'm Claire. I'm your team lead. Nice to meet you, Emma replied. Claire showed her around the office, introducing her to other designers, showing her the shared workspace, the coffee area, and the big material room filled with fabrics, wood samples, and color palettes. Emma felt like she had walked into a dream. Later that day, while she was organizing design samples at her desk, she noticed someone standing near the windows, looking out over the city. It was Daniel. He didn't notice her at first. He was lost in thought, hands in his pockets, shoulders slightly tense. Emma hesitated, then walked over. Beautiful view, she said softly. He turned, surprised for just a moment, then nodded. It is. Sometimes I forget to appreciate it. You get used to it? In time, he said. But the city always has something new. There was a short silence. I just wanted to thank you, Emma said. For the opportunity. I'm really happy to be here. You earned it, Daniel replied, his voice calm. You have a good eye. I saw it in your portfolio. Emma smiled, but there was something unreadable in his eyes. Like he was holding back a part of himself. Before she could say anything more, Claire called her from across the office. Well, back to work, Emma said. Daniel gave a small nod, and she walked away. That night, Emma sat by the small window in her room, drinking tea and thinking about her first day. Everyone had been kind. The work was exciting. But her thoughts kept going back to Daniel. There was something about him that made her curious. It wasn't just that he was handsome or successful. It was the way he looked at things, like he was always searching for something he couldn't find. She didn't know what it was, but part of her wanted to find out. Chapter 3: Coffee and Color Palettes. The days passed quickly. Emma soon found a rhythm at Grey Bloom. Her mornings began with coffee and quick team meetings, followed by hours spent choosing color palettes, matching fabrics, and sketching room layouts. She loved it all. Every evening, she returned home tired but satisfied. Claire was a great mentor, smart, kind, and always ready to help. And the rest of the team was friendly too. But Daniel remained a mystery. He rarely spoke unless it was work-related. He moved through the office with quiet confidence, always dressed neatly, always focused. Emma noticed that people respected him, but also kept a little distance. One Thursday afternoon, Claire dropped a folder on Emma's desk. "Hey," she said, smiling. "Daniel wants you to help with the new project." Emma blinked. "Me?" "Yes. He's starting a luxury apartment redesign for a high-profile client. You'll assist with mood boards and early concept sketches." Emma nodded, trying to stay calm. "I'll get started right away." "Good. He wants to meet with you at 5:30. His office." At exactly 5:30, Emma stood outside Daniel's glass-walled office. She knocked gently. "Come in," his voice said. She stepped inside. Daniel was sitting at his desk, typing something. He looked up as she entered, then gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." Emma sat, smoothing her skirt. "So," he said, closing his laptop. "The client is looking for a modern, minimalist look. Clean lines. Light colors. Nothing too cold, though. It still has to feel like a home." Emma nodded. "Do they have any preferences?" He handed her a sheet of notes. "They like Scandinavian designs. Natural textures. No strong patterns. I want you to start with 2 concept boards, digital and printed. By Monday." "I can do that," Emma said confidently. Daniel studied her for a moment. "How are you settling in?" "I really like it here," she replied. "Everyone's been welcoming. And the work is more exciting than I imagined." He gave a small smile, rare, but genuine. "Good." There was a pause. Emma wasn't sure if she should say more. But something in his expression made her brave. "Can I ask you something?" Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Sure." "You always look like you're carrying 100 thoughts in your head," she said, half joking, half curious. "Are you always this serious?" He looked slightly surprised, but not offended. "I suppose I am," he said. "But not always." Emma smiled. "I'll believe that when I see it." For a moment, something softened in his face. Then it was gone. "Get some rest," he said, standing. "You'll need it." Emma stood too. "Good night, Mr. Bloom." "Good night, Emma." Outside, the city lights sparkled like stars. As she walked to the subway, Emma thought about their conversation. It hadn't been long, but something had changed. Maybe she had seen a small part of the real Daniel Bloom. And maybe, just maybe, he was starting to see her too. Chapter 4: A Walk in the Rain. Monday morning arrived with gray skies and the soft sound of rain tapping against the windows. Emma didn't mind the rain. In fact, she liked it. There was something peaceful about the way the city slowed down when the skies turned silver. She arrived early, carrying her rolled-up sketches and printed mood boards in a waterproof folder. Her shoes were a little wet, her hair slightly frizzy, but her heart was steady. She had worked hard on the designs all weekend. By the time Daniel entered the meeting room, she was already setting things up. He glanced over the table. "You're early." "I wanted to make sure everything was ready." Daniel nodded. He took off his coat, walked to the table, and picked up one of the boards. Emma watched his eyes as he studied her work, calm, focused, impossible to read. Finally, he looked up. "This is good." Emma let out a small breath. Thanks. Your balance of textures is strong. I like the use of wood with the soft textiles. It feels warm. I wanted to show that modern doesn't have to mean cold, she said. The apartment has a lot of natural light, so I thought softer tones would work well. He nodded again. Let's show these to the client on Wednesday. You'll come with me. Emma blinked. Really? You're part of the team, Daniel said simply. And this is your work. Later that afternoon, it was still raining when Emma stepped outside to grab lunch. As she walked back with her paper bag of food, she saw someone standing under the awning just outside the building. Daniel. He wasn't wearing a coat this time, just a dark sweater, his sleeves pushed up. His hair was damp, and he looked unusually relaxed, hands in his pockets, watching the rain. You're not a fan of umbrellas? She asked, stepping next to him. He gave a small smile. Never liked them. Emma laughed. Typical. He glanced at her. Typical of what? I don't know. Mysterious men in black sweaters who drink black coffee and work late nights. Very cinematic. Daniel actually chuckled. Is that how you see me? Maybe, she teased. Still deciding. He looked back at the street. I used to like the rain. Used to? Before it started reminding me of things. Emma didn't say anything. She just stood there, beside him, letting the moment be what it was. A quiet pause, two people, and the sound of rain. Chapter 4, A Walk in the Rain. After a moment, Daniel spoke again, his voice low. My mother used to say that the rain was the earth crying. I always thought it was kind of poetic. Emma looked at him, surprised by how personal that sounded. Is she still around? He shook his head slowly. She passed away a few years ago. Emma's heart sank. I'm sorry. Daniel didn't respond right away. He just watched the rain, then finally said, It's all right. I don't talk about her much. They stood there in silence, the soft patter of rain filling the space between them. Then Emma asked gently, Did she inspire you to get into design? Daniel smiled faintly. She was a florist. Our house was always full of color, plants, vases, wildflowers from the garden. I think I learned to see beauty in small things because of her. That's beautiful, Emma said softly. He turned to her then, his gaze calm but searching. What about you? Who inspired you? Emma smiled. My grandma. She used to rearrange the furniture every month. Said it helped her think better. I guess I picked it up from her. Daniel chuckled. That's a new one. Emma shrugged. Hey, it worked. She lived to be 93. They both laughed, and for the first time, the tension that had always surrounded Daniel seemed to fade just a little. As the rain slowed to a light drizzle, Daniel looked at his watch. Want to walk a bit? He asked. Emma hesitated, surprised by the invitation. Sure. They walked without umbrellas, their shoes splashing in puddles as they moved down the street. It wasn't far, just a few blocks around the corner, past a park, and a tiny old bookstore that Emma immediately made a mental note to visit. They didn't talk much, and it didn't feel awkward. Sometimes, silence says more than words. By the time they returned to the office, The clouds had started to break, and a faint glow of sunlight peeked through. Daniel held the door open for her. "Thanks," she said, brushing a strand of damp hair from her face. He looked at her for a second longer than necessary. "See you tomorrow, Emma." "See you," she replied. And as she rode the elevator up, her heart beat a little faster, not because of the rain or the cold, but because of something she couldn't quite name. Final chapter. When spring returns, weeks turned into months. Emma and Daniel worked closely together on several projects. She learned quickly, and he began to trust her, not just as a designer, but as someone who understood him. There were shared coffees, quiet jokes, late nights in the office, sketching ideas while music played softly in the background. They never talked directly about what was growing between them. But it was there, in the way his eyes softened when she laughed, in the way she noticed his favorite kind of tea, or how she remembered the stories he never meant to share. One evening in late April, they were finishing up a presentation when Daniel looked up from his laptop. "I'm going away for a few days," he said. Emma blinked. "Oh. For work?" He shook his head. "No. For myself. I need to visit somewhere. It's personal." She nodded, not asking questions. But her chest felt tight. "I'll be back before the weekend," he added, as if that would make a difference. Emma smiled politely. "All right. Safe travels." He looked at her for a moment, as if wanting to say something more. But he didn't, and then he was gone. That weekend, New York bloomed. Cherry blossoms opened in the parks. Sunshine filled the streets. The cold edge of winter finally let go. Emma wandered through the Saturday market alone, holding a coffee and trying not to think about him. But everything reminded her: colors, smells, quiet corners of the city. When she got home, there was a message waiting. From Daniel Bloom. Subject: just one thing. There's a garden outside my mother's house. She planted wildflowers every spring. I went to visit today, and they've bloomed early this year. It reminded me of you. Thought you'd like to know. Emma read the message 3 times, and then, without even thinking, she replied, "I'd like to see them one day." He came back Monday morning. There was a small bouquet of wildflowers on Emma's desk. No card. But she knew. And later that evening, as the office emptied and the golden sunset warmed the city, Daniel stood beside her at the window. "I missed this," he said. "This?" She. "You." Emma turned to him. His eyes were clearer than she'd ever seen. "I tried to stay quiet," he said. "But I can't anymore. I care about you, Emma." She didn't answer right away. She didn't need to. She just reached for his hand, and he didn't let go. That spring, something bloomed in both of them. Not rushed. Not dramatic. Just real. And as the city moved forward, loud, wild, alive, they built something of their own, one quiet morning at a time. One small, brave step after another.